So when you're buying a home, something that you do have to remember to consider are closing costs. So I'm talking to Shelley Middlebrook today from Right Path Mortgage. Shelley, what are closing costs that buyers have to expect?
Yeah, the big one is land transfer costs. So unfortunately it's a tax everyone has to pay. If you're in the Toronto area, or Toronto specific, you actually pay twice as much as the rest of Ontario, which is kind of a bummer. So they charge you more to live in Toronto. There are rebates for first-time home buyers, but generally, they can get quite expensive. So the more expensive your property is, the purchase price, the higher the land transfer tax that you're going to pay. And then a couple other things that come into play are obviously the lawyer's fees. Yeah, lawyers' fees generally, are a couple $1,000s. It could be $1,500 to $2,500. Again, you might have higher if you're closing a house and buying a new house, so you've got two properties then, or different things. The other thing you just have to remember is it's not only the lawyer's fees, but you will have maybe, title insurance, which will, again, depending on the house, the property could be more, usually $400-ish, but could be a bit more than that.
And is that something that is usually recommended? Or?
Yeah, usually required because you want to make sure that nobody else has a lien against the house or a company has a lien against a house if you're purchasing a new house. So the lawyer will do that. And it's usually part of, when you're going to get your lawyer's fees, you'll have title insurance, you'll have some disbursements and adjustments that the lawyer is going to charge you. So that will be things like the person who owned the property beforehand paid the property tax for the full year, but you're taking over in September. Well, you may have to, give them back the 4 months property tax they paid or whatever. So there's some, fee adjustments that happen. Another one that comes up is appraisal. The appraisal, if you're buying a mortgage, if you're buying a property of less than 20% down and the property is less than $1 million, and it's a high ratio insured mortgage, the insurance company, you have to pay this insurance on top of with your mortgage payments, but the insurance company will do the appraisal. So you're not paying for it, you are through the insurance, but there's not an extra fee for it. If you have a conventional mortgage, then the lender's going to require you get an appraisal. And again, depending on the complexity of your property, the size of it, whatever, the prices vary. An average price is around $400, but if you have a bigger property, bigger land, it can be more than that, or a multiplex or whatever, it could be potentially more.
Okay, so as a rule of thumb, should you save about what percentage should you save in to cover closing costs?
Again, everybody's situation is slightly different, but probably between 1.5% and 4% of the price of the property is a good amount to have. The other thing just that comes up as a cost as well is when you get mortgage insurance, there's provincial sales tax on it. So even though that can be included in your mortgage payments, you will have the provincial sales tax on to pay at closing costs on so 13% of the however much. If your mortgage insurance was $10,000, then you're paying the provincial sales tax on that $10,000.
And so how does it work when it comes to closing a property? When is the money due? Who does it go to? When is your first mortgage payment? Maybe talk about that.
Sure. So generally, when you purchase, you put in an agreement or a purchase agreement. You're putting down a deposit. So usually that's part of your down payment. So you're giving that though up front generally when you're putting in your offer. If it's accepted, so that's part of your down payment. Then the rest of your down payment, you'll need to have a wire transfer or money order. Your lawyer will tell you which one, whatever, how they want it, but you'll have the money. Usually you get it to them a little bit ahead, however much more of a down payment you're having. And then the lender will also, once all the requirements for your mortgage conditions, so getting your employment letter, all the conditions that you might have to get a mortgage, that they've got all the paperwork, all that, the lawyer's done their due diligence, they've done property, the title insurance, they've done everything they need to do and check, then the lender will forward the money to your lawyer at closing date. So usually the lawyer wants you to come in, sign the paperwork and everything, bring the rest of your down payment a day or two ahead of time, business days, and then on closing the lender transfers the money and the lawyer registers it and closes the deal.
Great. And I know with some people don't necessarily use one of the regular banks. They have sort of different places where they keep their money. So do you think it's a good idea that they should speak to wherever their money is to figure out how much time it takes them to actually get money liquidated.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially if you have money overseas. The lenders, if you're getting a mortgage, they want the money in Canada usually 90 days ahead. Even your down payment, the lenders want to see 90-day history of where that money's been. So you need to provide bank statements or investment statements showing that money, and it's all protection for fraud and things like that, or money laundering. They don't want money to be laundered through property sales and stuff. So they just want to make sure that it really is your money. Or if you're getting, which is quite common now, gifted money for younger buyers because it's just become so expensive to purchase, then if their parents are giving them money or a sibling or something, they need a gift letter saying that the person who's gifting the money has no ownership in the property,
right, and
they need that money transferred into their account. It's good, like 30 days ahead of time to be into your account, just, to make sure. So, I think just getting everything together, all the paperwork and everything, you want to have a good window, you want to have everything in probably about 2 weeks ahead because your lawyer needs time to do what they need to do and get all the documents. You need to go see them, and then there's weekends and everything. So just, and if anything is missing or that, it just gives a little bit of a buffer just to make sure that you have everything in for the closing to go smoothly.
Amazing. So that's great. So always be prepared, get everything prepared ahead of time, and your closing should go smoothly. If you want further information on what your closing fees would be, anything like that, please reach out to Shelley at Right Path Mortgage. And if you want any further information, any real estate information, please feel free to reach out to me.